Sometimes, God will destroy the place where you feel safest, not because He hates you, but because staying there would destroy your future. And that's exactly what happened to a tiny bird who cried for days after losing her home. At first, she thought her life was over. She thought everything had been taken away from her. But what she discovered later changed everything, because the thing that broke her heart was secretly leading her somewhere better. And if you stay until the end of this story, you may realize something shocking about your own life too. High in the mountains, far away from noisy cities, there stood an old stone tower. The walls were broken by time, the air was cold and quiet. Almost nobody came there anymore, and hanging inside the tower was a giant old lantern. Dust covered its metal. It had not been used for many years. To most people, it looked useless. But to one tiny bird, it looked perfect. The little bird flew around the lantern carefully. Inside it was warm, safe from rain, safe from dangerous animals, safe from storms, and after searching for so long, the little bird finally felt peace. So every day she worked hard. She carried small branches, tiny leaves, soft feathers. Slowly, she built her nest inside the lantern, and when it was finally finished, she smiled happily. "This is my home," she thought. "Nothing can hurt me here." And that was the moment everything began to change. Because life becomes dangerous when we believe our comfort will last forever. Days passed peacefully. The little bird sang every morning. She rested every afternoon, and slowly, she stopped worrying about the future. Until one morning, she heard something strange. Footsteps, voices, people. The bird looked down from her nest nervously. Several villagers had entered the tower. They carried wood, oil, and fire. One old man looked up at the lantern and smiled. "Tonight," he said softly, "the tower will shine again." The little bird did not understand. She stayed frozen inside her nest. Then suddenly, everything changed. Fire exploded inside the lantern. Bright flames filled the air. Heat burned against the metal walls. The nest began shaking violently. The little bird panicked. She tried to save her home, tried to hold the branches together, but it was impossible. Within seconds, everything she built was destroyed. Her nest fell apart into ashes. The little bird escaped into the dark sky, trembling with fear. Below her, the lantern glowed brighter than ever, but inside her heart, everything felt broken. "Why?" she cried silently. "Why did this happen to me?" For days, she flew alone through forests and valleys. Cold rain soaked her feathers. Strong winds pushed her backwards. She became tired, hungry, weak. Everywhere she looked felt dangerous. Nothing felt like home anymore. And slowly, she started losing hope. One stormy night, she landed on a dead branch beside a river. The rain poured heavily from the sky. The little bird closed her eyes. For the first time, she wanted to stop trying. Maybe life would never become good again. Maybe losing the lantern had destroyed everything. But then, through the sound of rain, she heard something. Birds singing, soft, peaceful, happy. The little bird slowly opened her eyes. Far away, beyond the dark forest, she saw a warm golden light, and deep inside, something whispered, "Keep flying." So she did, even while tired, even while afraid, even while heartbroken. She kept flying, across the river, past the hills, through the storm, until suddenly the trees opened, and what she saw made her stop completely. Hidden behind the mountains was a beautiful valley full of life. Fresh water sparkled under the sunlight. Huge trees carried sweet fruit. Strong branches stretched across the sky. Birds flew peacefully everywhere. It was warm, safe, beautiful. Far more beautiful than the old lantern. The little bird landed quietly on a branch. For a long moment, she simply looked around in silence. Then, suddenly, she understood. If the lantern had never burned, she would never have left. She would have stayed trapped in a tiny place forever, thinking it was all life had to offer. And at that moment, her pain finally made sense. The fire did not come to destroy her. It came to move her. Sometimes God removes small things because he sees a bigger future waiting ahead. But most people never discover that future because they stop flying after the pain begins. They sit inside their sadness, inside their fear, inside their broken past, and they never reach the beautiful place waiting beyond the storm. So if your life feels painful right now, listen carefully. Maybe the thing you lost was not your final home. Maybe the door that closed was protecting you. Maybe the storm shaking your life is pushing you toward something greater. One day, you may look back at the thing that broke your heart and thank God it happened, because sometimes what feels like the end is actually the beginning of something far better.